All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is September 24th. This is the Lunenburg Water District Commissioners meeting. We will start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing we got is review and sign a warrant. And some minutes you could look at there, Mr. Esposito.
Glasses in there if you need some.
Were you here? No, you wasn't.
That one I should be on. It should say it right.
Oh yeah, I'll press it. Okay, I got you.
We spend money on PJ King, Buy Plus.
Yeah, mostly Rolling Acres stuff.
Yeah. And what's this? ATS.
The
rental,
machine for
yeah.
Rolling Acres, yep.
What's MIIA, or is that IIA, or what is that?
Maya is our health insurance,
Oh,
health and
Maya.
dental.
Who's that property?
Maya. It's all through Maya.
Oh, I was just,
And that's how they
you
spell
didn't
their
say
name?
property, that's how you.
Well, this bill that he's looking at specifically is
Health.
is the health and dental.
Sorry.
But yes, it's all through them.
All done with the excavator over the rolling
No,
Acres?
No, they
that's
just
just the
built-
first bill.
For the month.
So is Rolling Acres on the agenda, or is that just to add on?
It is not, so you have to put that into your additions.
That's fine.
I saw it. I'm all for that. I love it. You know why? So we give it back to them. when we're done with it. Here you go.
Yeah, but that
Maybe with
check
a
for
couple scratches on it.
$53.25?
It's awesome.
History.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Just so when we're done with it, it's gone. The breaks, you know what we do? We call them up.
It's got a few
Maybe
more,
we clean off
I
the
was gonna
track.
say a couple.
it's got a few more dents on it than-
Right.
than
Maybe we
got.
clean the tracks off before we give it back to them, maybe not. This guy here is all set September 10th. I'd take a motion on that one.
This guy here is all set?
Yep.
All right, I make a motion to accept the commissioners' meeting minutes, September 10th, 2025.
All those in favor?
Aye. Pretty good how he did that, huh?
Yeah, very,
Amazing.
Very, very.
Not bad for an old man.
Not bad for your second day, huh?
Yeah. Second day.
Okay, we approve the minutes. Third thing on the agenda is review and vote to approve Verdontis? Yeah, Verdontis proposal to investigate potential drilling locations in the area of 361 Mass Ave. Take it away, Fran.
All right, so years ago, there's supposed to be a housing development.
Correct.
Behind Walmart. It was actually tied to three of them that ran the sewer main for Pittsburgh. So when that proposal came through, we had done a, they call it a fracture trace analysis, where they look for cracks in bedrock and potential well sites, bedrock wells.
Yep.
So we went out there and located a bunch of spots. The previous developer that owned the land, we spoke to him. He's a very cooperating person. The project had phases of the project and had one big large open space area. So the open space area was placed to protect those well sites,
Okay.
wherever they were. So anyway, the project's all gone, new
Yeah.
owner now, so that thing's all good. I spoke to the new owner, they said, yes, sure thing, go ahead and do some testing. So I spoke to Verdantis, that's Dave Howard, used to be Geo Insight.
Yeah.
That's a hydrogeologist, and I mentioned it to him, and he said he can review that and redo the fracture trace, because that's all.
It's just all
unknown.
desktop, right?
Well, they look at aerial photos. And
Okay, yeah,
use
but they
that.
don't physically need to go on site to do that. Is that what you?
They would actually go there and
Okay.
stake the spots. So they would say this is where we need to test,
Mm-hmm.
and this is just to find the places to test, and then you would need money to hire the drilling crew to go in and test for it.
Mhm.
So this is not cheap, but it was. Oh, my glasses.
I think it's that second wage.
$8,900.
Oh, maybe the.
A hole?
Yeah.
8,500. This is just
8,500.
no, hold on. This is step one of
Step. That's just
Right.
to find the sites.
what brought this on. Might I ask?
Just reviewing all options for water sources, because
Okay.
we seem to have tensions on, treating what and doing what. Downside is typically a bedrock well always needs treatment, always gonna need iron and manganese. A lot of times it's radon,
Yeah. I can see that.
arson.
Arsenic.
So, this is 8,500. Then the next step would get someone to actually go out there and like drill a test well.
It's a bedrock well, so it's not like our typical.
Right. Not like we did at Keating's.
It's not those. Yeah, we're going down 600 feet. So you're probably talking 20.
Just to do
20,000
it.
just to do one well,
Just a test.
just to test. Well, this is kind of why we haven't actually gone after it already. And the capacity you're looking at is at minimal. It's not a Keating's. It's
Right. So now this is up like at the end of Maple Parkway. Keep going up in
Yep.
the woods like behind
Correct.
Walmart. Because he just told me. I remember this from before. I'm just saying, just making stuff up here. Let's just say that we went out there, we did this, we drilled it. Now we're in it for, I'm making up numbers here, 30 grand, let's say. We get this test well, we do the math on it, and we think it can produce X amount, and let's just say we want to make a well out of this. We go through all the motions with DEP, blah blah blah, sampling, testing, if it needs a treatment plant or not. Like there's a lot involved here. We're gonna go for quite a ways, and we would spend millions of dollars once to get my
buy
question.
the land.
Buy the land, blah blah blah. Yes, tying it into our system. That's one of my questions. Is what would you think? Where, if you were going to tie that into the system, would you go down Maple Parkway, or would you try to go out to
I would do both. I tie in Maple Parkway and tie into the line that goes up the tank.
Okay.
I thought you were going to ask timing.
Oh no, I know the timing's 10 years back.
Yeah, I was going to say 10
right.
years. Yeah. This is why I didn't like jumping. Oh yeah, this is a definite thing. I've said to everybody from all along. I look at all the options for this PFAS thing, and this is just one of the options.
I appreciate you looking at that option.
This will not solve any of the
No,
issues.
I
even if
understand
there's no
that, yeah.
PFAS in it. It would just to be an
So,
assist. It would assist.
We would need to do this and then drill the test well. Let's just say we did this. Spent the 85, and he does his,
His thing.
crack report.
Frack.
You know what I'm saying? Figures out where it is. Okay, this is where we want to test drill a well. We test drill a well. And at that point, we could figure out if this was going to be a viable well. It could produce X amount of gallons, blah, blah, blah. Right? That's when we would find
That's
out
what
that.
you would find out. Yes.
And we're guessing that the next step in this is $20,000 to $25,000 to drill a test well?
Yes.
Roughly.
Well, if you want, I can get prices for test wells, and then see, hey, is this something we want to do? Because you're definitely gonna need more than one.
Okay,
test well.
I think that maybe we should go that route
And then
because
investigate more before
right,
we
you know,
step
I
in.
mean, let's, you know, because this is great and all, but like once we got this information, it's pretty much useless without the second half of
Yeah,
it,
right.
right? You know what I'm saying? Great
gotcha.
job, and I mean I agree with you. Like we're sure I'm all for looking at it, but let's maybe just try to package this together because it wouldn't make any sense to do this if we didn't want to do the second half.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like if we're gonna do this, let's allocate the monies and times and then I'm just curious, like from the end of Maple Parkway, like I mean that's a huge parcel of land back there. Like
When we accessed the site, there was actually a lot of nice spots on Alan Foster's off of White Street.
Yep.
Near to the southeast of his pond up on the hill area.
Pearlbrook and
Yep. So we found some good potential sites out there, and then there was a bunch of sites where we drove right up to the water tank.
Yep.
Drove down the old Pope Road.
Right.
And headed out down over the hill in the back corner.
Okay.
This is 20 years ago.
Sure.
You know, so, and I remember we were all set to do the testing off of White Street,
Mm-hmm.
and Alan Foster was all for it, and Dave Rogers like you better talk to him about money before we go and do any test wells, and he wanted over $1 million before we even
Right.
found it. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
and so much a gallon,
yeah,
what I heard.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, forget it. We're not
Yeah,
gonna
he's a
test.
hell of a guy.
So once again, let's just great idea. Let's just
Let's move slow and
Yeah.
work at
Let's
Now,
just-
this is a 4-inch test well, 6-inch.
It's a regular house.
yeah, but I'm just saying 600 feet. Good lord. Through
I was gonna say,
because what's the street off on Northfield Road when you go down and take a left? Your buddy.
Howard Street? No. When you're going down Northfield?
Didn't they do a housing down with like 20 and 15 years ago? Smith. What did Smith build? Your buddy Smith. These
not
kids.
my buddy.
The guy.
Off Northfield Road. Why am I drawing
He
a blank?
passed away and his kids built the house with Anderson.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so all those homes have high producing bedrock wells.
Okay.
Like 160 gallons a minute.
Yeah.
And when 160 gallons, that's not something you just walk away from. So
Yeah.
when you put a couple of those in, you have some pretty similar to Lancaster Ave.
Right.
So anyway, they at 400 feet they did not have water. 600 feet they had loads of water.
Okay.
So that's what I was told.
Gotcha.
So you don't go. Most people will go 400. They're done. The old hydrogeologist Ted Marine, he was the one. You cannot go to 400. If you do this, budget 600, and so that's what.
All right, now let me ask you a couple of questions. These are gonna be 600-foot wells, let's say, all right? 6-inch?
Well, that would be the test well. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
that's what
I
I'm
don't-
talking about. No, I'm talking about the test well.
Okay.
6-inch, and is it gonna be, you said the ledge or no ledge? Drill?
All ledge.
All ledge, so there's no casing, or is there?
Just in the overburden when it
Yeah,
was above to
okay.
the bedrock. Yep.
And they want $20,000 to drill a 600-foot well.
I hear
Why
wells
can
going-
I get a 600-foot well drilled for a house for, let's say, 10 or 12 or 15?
Have you got prices recently? Because the price I heard.
Yeah,
it was
did, just got a
18,000.
well done 6 months ago,
How deep?
600 feet.
Oh, maybe we should talk to
Yeah,
you.
we'll talk to your guy. Yeah, from what I was hearing from people, it was the price was 18,000.
So to drill a 600-foot residential well is going to be 25 or 30,000 bucks by the time you put a well in it. I mean, a pump and everything else. Nah. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. Yeah,
Right,
I
I
am
don't-
disagreeing, but there's other things.
Well,
out
I
there.
read if the price is typically the old days price of a well was 8 to 10 or 8 to 12 was the number, and then from the guy I just talked to who thought that was the number, he called everybody. His price was 18,000. That was his cheapest price. Yeah. So that's why I'm using the 18,000.
What would it be to put 500 feet of casing in there?
I didn't know the
another
price. I don't know
15,000.
why.
No, I'm just saying, and hypothetically, it'd be another 15 to 20,000 for the casing. So you're gonna spend 50 grand to get a hole in the ground for water, but.
No, I mean, to me, I would budget. I don't want to.
Well, no, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing things out there. Why people that build houses now, they don't pay 25, 30 grand for.
Oh no, I don't think I mean 25, 30, but I would say
Well, no, if it's
18 was the number I heard. So
well, yeah, okay, and even maybe that's with the pump, with all the stuff in the house, the extra, all that stuff. Maybe.
Well, we're gonna find out.
Yeah,
before
we're gonna find
We're gonna
out.
find out before we push this. Let's.
all right,
Yeah,
so
let's.
this guy, he knows all the guys that do test wells.
Sure.
So I'll say, all right, we're gonna hold off on signing the agreement. Let's get some pricing for test wells,
Yep.
and see if this is something we want to pursue.
One last question.
No.
Why do we have to hire a guy who does test wells? Why don't we just hire a well driller to go in there and drill us a 600-foot hole?
Yeah, we could. Yeah. Well, that's what his thing. He knows the well drillers. So it's good. Regular home well drill. There's no specialty, and it's not like a municipal
Well,
gravel pack
maybe
well.
they think they are special. That's why they're getting so much money.
Well, it sounds like we need to put our lead negotiator on this and see what we got.
This isn't my first well, buddy, So,
Call around and get prices.
Yeah, we'll call.
Yeah.
have you called Skillings? Have you called Gagnon? Have you called,
Yeah.
Well, okay, just asking.
We'll get on it.
All right.
All right. Is this horse down and done?
Well, it's down, but it isn't done.
Well, we'll
Okay.
check that out. We'll circle back around it. We'll talk.
It just amazes me the prices these guys charge.
Everything's getting out of control.
Sounds like I need a well drilling rig. That's what it sounds like.
Well, I know these rigs are probably $500,000, but these guys drill 6 or 7 wells a week. They're gonna, okay, let's go on.
Sure.
I'll let you
Okay.
talk about it. For
All
a
right.
while.
Anyway, that's what we're gonna do with that. A lot of notes there. Next thing we have is review and vote employees' vehicle benefits policy.
I guess I'm supposed to read this.
No,
Jason.
just a
We
motion.
can talk about it for a second.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
If that's okay. Basically, this is just kind of really just reaffirming the vehicles, mainly like if Fran takes a vehicle home, if the guys need to take a vehicle home for being on call, etc. It's pretty common practice across the industry, and I feel as it should be that the supervisor for sure, and even possibly the employees, if need be, to take a vehicle home if you're on call or something like that. So if you had a water main break, for example, that you can just go there and do it.
Rapid response.
Rapid response. So we're just kind of re-solidifying this into a motion. So it's just kind of maybe for the record that this is our policy, and just in case it ever comes up. That's pretty much what we're talking about here. Do you have anything to add to that? Or? All right. Do you have anything to add to that, sir?
No, not this minute.
All right. Well, fire away. Now you're on. Now you read
How am I
that.
supposed to read this? Okay, all right.
I'm trying, John. I'm trying.
I
buddy.
make a motion to authorize the water superintendent and any employee that is on call to utilize a water district supplied vehicle to provide a more rapid response to required needs for the residents. This vehicle is not considered a fringe benefit, and no taxes, fees, or reimbursements will be imposed upon the employee.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Now, let me say one thing. This is imposed on the water district, evidently. And I'm just thinking that they want to, the state, the IRS wants to charge
No,
tax.
this is just for.
This
This
is-
is for.
This is just for
Yeah.
us. This is strictly just for
okay.
us. Nothing to do with anything else.
All right, I don't have anything to say. then.
Okay. Okay. All right. Ah, 5. Here we go.
Moving right along.
Yeah. Commissioner, superintendent, clerk, anybody's. What do we got, Fran?
Just rolling acres.
Yep.
The water main's all done other than the connection to the old main. It's pressure tested, we chlorinated, we did a bacteria sample, and yesterday we got it back as failed, so we reflushed today, did another sample. So once that sampling passes, then we can start tying the houses to it.
Maybe you should explain real quick to someone who's listening that may freak out about the bacteria thing that field. It's very common.
It's very
But
common.
it's-
Very common.
Very
It's not in the
So,
system.
It's not in the
It's not
system.
in the
It's
system.
why you do this first. I think I
Yes.
could just see somebody be like, "Whoa!" Like
Yeah.
no, it's very
So-
common that if the pipe is new, manufactured.
Yep.
That's
it's
why
all,
you do it.
It's dirty. It's got groundwater. in it,
Correct.
And
Okay.
yeah, a lot of dirt. We've had several main breaks, so filled it up with dirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to flush all that out. So then you put the chlorine in. So typically when you chlorinate, you chlorinate the surface of it. You know. So then you got to flush it, and then you take bacteria samples after. So whatever was chlorinated, you just cleaned off the clean stuff and left the dirty stuff
Right.
in. So then you test again.
Right.
So this is very common. It takes, a few times to get it there. We pass all the system bacteria samples, so I fully expect to pass
Sure.
this.
Okay.
And
Hey.
once it goes, it will be doing the surfaces. But in the meantime, it's not bad because we're getting a lot of stuff done. We're getting the driveways paved, we're fixing up the front lawns of the places where we're not gonna have to redig them, and we're compacting everything so that once we're done and loam and seeded, it's not gonna settle. So I think we're doing.
It looks good over there. I feel like it's a very for a construction project. I've driven by a couple times. Very neat, clean, swept off.
We try.
you know.
Yeah.
So on the water main things, I know we've talked about plenty of times that you guys would like us to do this pretty frequently. I think if we do this more frequently, there's things that we should purchase
Yeah.
and do this. And John's got one in front of him that it's the pressure test the main, chlorinate it. We're not able to do it ourselves. I'd like the third person to come in to write a report, say, hey, you passed this thing. So if anybody ever saw it, but that's just a pressure test pump. It's a lot more money than I thought it was going to be. So I'm not asking to vote on it, just something down the road, but because I got other prices coming. But things that would be one thing we would need. To me, I would love to get some kind of sweeper.
Yeah.
Roller.
And a roller to hot top. So we're gonna borrow something when we do the paving for Meadow Lane.
So just while we're talking about this, as I watched you guys do that main the other day, I gotta tell you, if I was doing that main, I would love to have a wheeled skid steer there. Even watching you backfill and stuff like that, I could,
Yeah.
because like how the backhoe's so long, which it works great. I was watching you do it the other day, and I was like, man, you guys want to borrow a skid steer? Like, I just think you can zip around much faster. You
I
can-
agree.
Yeah.
I just brought mine from home.
Right. So I'd be willing to buy a skid steer with a sweeper attachment.
Well, that would be perfect.
And I
Yeah.
think you'd have multiple uses of that, from
Yeah.
cleaning up snow around here to mainly, I don't view it as a water main break tool, but like,
But even like the milling of the road,
Yeah.
fixing
We,
stuff.
yeah,
we could
used
use
to-
that thing.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you,
Every-
like,
cutting
I
it.
watched you guys do it over there, and I was just like, yes, we drop off a skid steer. Like, it just,
Yeah.
that's how I would do it, because
I'm with you.
it's nimble. It's not the fix-all tool there, but there's
it's a
definitely
good
some
one.
things that you could.
Everything has its little handy spot.
So, so you don't think we should rent one of those? We
No.
should buy it. Really?
Hey, look at, I'm 1/3 of the operation.
Well, no, I'm just trying to figure out your train of thought and what's. But no, I agree with that. That's a good little.
You know
machine
why?
to
Because you
have.
can buy a.
It's more you can put attachments on it that you can use.
You
You
can use them, yeah.
put compactors on them. You can buy everything for them now.
Yeah.
I feel
Tree
that-
cutters if you want.
I feel that you could buy because I think a skid steer. What I envision you guys buying is like a Cat 236, not like something huge or anything. I definitely would do wheeled, not a tracked one, just for the road work. And I feel like those are reasonably priced. Like,
How do the tracks hold up compared to the tires?
the tires. I'd have the tires all the way, just because
Because
for
you're
road
on the
work.
road.
Yeah.
Just for road work.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah,
don't
they
need
have
for.
those special tires, don't they? The solid ones, right? I mean, you could. They would
Just
come
the
with other
regular.
ones.
They have
Regular.
like a instead of like an R4 tractor tire, but they have like a. I have one on my skid steer. I mean, they're street tires.
Yeah.
They're just tires. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
they're just. In watching you guys do that,
I agree. Even for
Yeah.
Just
backfilling, that would
Backfilling,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
just,
Yeah.
and then you can even like sit like make rocky. Hold on me, so we don't drop it on the pipe. Just
Yeah.
it's things to look at. Yes, I could see having a sweeper at the end of the day, clicking that thing on.
I would think
Yeah.
that would be
That
the
would
best
be-
if you had a skid steer with a sweeper.
Yeah.
Yep.
That could better than a hand one.
You don't even have to buy a brand new one. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm sure you can find a lot of used ones.
Is
Yeah.
there's
Especially on one of those municipal
Bid
bids.
sites,
Yeah,
yeah.
bid sites.
yeah.
Municipalities put a lot of their equipment up for bids. They don't really have skid steer, so
No.
No.
we can look.
It's, you can find them like,
Oh, yeah.
but then
I thought we were having problems buying used stuff. You had to buy, they want the municipalities to buy new, or was there?
No, we can-
No?
As long as
Okay.
we get pricing.
Yeah.
I mean,
All
we
right.
can-
I think
everything
it
we
comes
buy,
down,
we-
the thing, that municipality
yeah.
pricing is like when you go new.
When you-
They
yeah,
can
if you
give
bought
you that
something-
big
right, yeah,
state
yeah, yeah.
discount, so you gotta look at,
Right.
well, what are you gonna get for a discount new versus buying used?
Most of our equipment here is used. The Mac is used, the Autocar, the JCB,
the new loader we bought.
Yeah,
the new Auto. Yeah.
yeah,
But so yeah, I would.
Okay.
so future purchases to
Yeah,
look
that
at,
would be
think
it.
of.
Get one, if you're really gonna do this, get one big enough to handle the equipment you're gonna buy for it.
Yeah,
I will. I'll have
yeah.
my favorite things.
You're too tall, you're too tall.
I love them. I'll tie your shoes with the skid steer.
Make sure it's got the power to do what we want it to do.
Yes.
That was all I got. So yeah, so you might see things pop up.
So, ETA, if you had to take a guess, how long before we wrap that job up? In other words, all the services tied in.
2 weeks.
Oh,
I think once we
write
get,
down 3.
once we get those samples to Pat,
Yeah. Yep.
then
It's gonna go.
I think
How many services are there?
it was 17
Okay.
total, and I think with the short side, with the mains
Yeah, there's
right
a
there,
bunch
I
right
think
there.
I think
Those are gonna go.
those will be done in 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, those are pretty quick.
The long ones could be 1 a day.
They could be a little
If
tricky.
we're lucky, maybe 2. But my thinking was the short ones we could do 2 crews on it, get 2 machines, and simple
Get 'em
easy
done.
part, 2 guys on each one, hammer them out. I'm not sure maybe we could even attempt that for the longer ones, dig them up, because all you're doing is tying a 3/4 inch copper to a 1 inch tap.
Right.
That's it. I mean, the tap's already done.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they're all tapped. They're all ready
yeah.
to go. It's
So
just
we
literally.
put the.
Hmm?
They even do plastic. We want to make it easier. Little plastic, bend it down, tie it on.
Yeah.
One last question.
No.
Oh, there's plenty.
How
You don't have last.
How you planning on moving that little machine around?
We got a trailer, don't we?
Just a small one for the mower. You'd
That's
have
on
to-
our list.
Yeah, we're gonna add that
We've
to
been talking
pricing.
about the trail a lot because the trench box we
Yeah.
need to have on the trail. So we have
Yeah.
the trench box, the skid steer, all the equipment.
You guys should have a. You don't need like a tilt deck or anything. We should have like an 18-foot trailer that,
Yeah,
14,000 pound.
Did
Yeah.
you say tilt deck or not?
Not tilt deck. I don't think that. I mean, I wouldn't buy. I would never buy not a tilt deck. That's just me. But for as much as you're going to use it, just a flat, with ramps. Yes, for the trench box. We get a bunch of pipe sticking on there.
Yep.
You change the dump body instead of having Billy's here for 6 months. Sorry, Billy.
Tilt deck.
They're another 50% more.
Really,
Oh, really? Did it go from
yeah,
you?
yeah. You can get a nice brand new trailer for like 8 or 9 grand. If you want a tilt deck, they're 13 to 14. And while they're awesome for the frequency that you guys would use,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I just don't.
okay.
If I had your money, John, I guess I'd buy it. All right. Moving on from that, you got anything else, sir?
No, I don't think so.
You got anything?
I don't.
Do I have?
Do I?
I felt like I
No.
had so much.
Oh, so what, are we gonna talk about this?
No,
We're not.
no, I'm just getting prices for it. I just want to show you that's something I'm
That's what
I-
we were talking about, was
so-
the equipment.
so-
Just a different equipment,
Okay.
if we
39.
price it out, yeah.
I thought it was gonna be half that amount.
Yeah.
And then I just got that price right before the meeting.
Fran and I had talked, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago about, as we done this little project here, we feel it's advantageous and whatnot. I think what we're going to try to do is not to the T, but just build out a little bit of a schedule, being like, this is what we envision us fixing on or replacing water mains that we can do ourselves. Things like 2A, we're not going to do that ourselves. It's just state road. It's just too much involved. But some of these, like the Rolling Acres, Years ago, you guys did Maple Parkway. I remember you guys, like that's something that we can do ourselves. So we're gonna try to put together just a little program and then see if it's worth buying equipment, hiring people. How can we work that into our daily operations while improving that? So we just got a little bit of math to do there, and I think it's definitely a worthwhile look at, and I think it could be a very good thing. And if that's the case, then we will buy some equipment, and possibly if we feel we could justify hiring another person, do it. At the end of this little job, what Fran's going to do is he's going to give us a quick little rundown of numbers. As if we had to pay somebody,
We keep track of everything.
yeah, if we had to pay somebody to do rolling acres, and this is what we did for ourselves. And I
Yeah.
think everyone's going to see there's quite a bit of difference
Huge.
there.
We already know we
No
said,
question. If you took what the price would be from the budgeted numbers that I had received before this to what it's actually going to cost, you could buy all the equipment you're talking about
Right.
twice.
just the engineering that was gonna be
Correct.
saved
And
over the
prevailing with-
rolling acres.
Yeah,
of
all
bucket.
these,
The
all
two big
these,
things,
all
yes.
these things, but it's something that we'll just try to mash
Yep,
up together.
You'll see it on paper, and then
then-
it's easy to accept.
Right, and then
Yeah.
we can make some decisions as a water department as to how we feel the capital improvement of the water main system should go, and we can. I got to tell you, like things like this, tools and equipment. If it makes our life easier, I'm a fan of it.
Yeah. So this job, that would be nice to have the pressure pump, so we could have tested before the guy even showed up. And we
Yep.
found out we had a leak. But we could have known beforehand. But the key thing that really bothered me was the not able to control the dirt on the road, the dust, and that's why I was with a
Yeah.
walk-ahead sweeper. And we broom and stuff, but you really need
Yeah.
the broom with the water source and get it off. That was the only thing that I thought was that I didn't like, that the residents had to.
Yeah, I gotta
deal with
say,
the dust.
that's just a kind of like tough break. We haven't had rain in months.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So like, no matter, it just if it was not like this, that wouldn't have even been
Probably.
an issue. You know what I'm
Probably.
saying? Like I've dealt with it all summer. Like I
Yeah.
get it. If I
Well,
hate driving
yeah.
down my little gravel road, jeez.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
On the work side of stuff, I think the employees really they enjoy this.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's busy. They're learning a lot.
Right. It's nice to be able to do this while it's not an emergency. Like we can work on this, okay, but on Thursday we have to do other stuff, so we're gonna get to a good stopping point, road plate or wherever, we're all set here, return. It's a more comfortable way to work.
We already got residents asking when we're doing Meadow Lane, and they call
Yeah.
because Meadow Lane is probably the worst.
Yeah.
But we had to do this section first.
Right. Well, it's good we got it off the road, we got it over there now.
Yeah.
We need to-
Oh yeah. We left
you know.
the stub right there. We
Yeah.
can just take off and go.
Yep.
I know what I wanted to add, well, nothing to do with this,
It's
never mind,
No, this
I'll
is-
bring it up in a couple minutes,
No, we're
I'm
good
just
here.
wondering, has anybody been inspecting electric ab over there, or that?
Oh yeah. We can discuss that if you want.
Yes, that's what I like to
Okay,
discuss.
so I didn't know it. They didn't schedule anything. I wasn't working on Friday, and they called to do the tap over there. And so Terry went over there. They didn't have the saddle, or they had the wrong one, or whatever. So Terry brought one of ours so they could do the tap. And I didn't hear much of it until you called. So I drove by on Monday. John called over the weekend and said the trench is terrible.
Oh,
And so I called, and Terry had their contact with me. So Terry called them and talked to him about it. And so I went by on Monday just to see what they did and what it was. And I went and looked, and I'm like, the water line's 2.5 feet deep. So I went nuts. And I'm like, no way, it's 5 feet deep. It has to be 5 feet deep. And he said, oh no, it's deep in the road. And one of the guy running the machine says, well, no, it's 3.5 feet right there. I'm like, no, it cannot be 3.5 feet deep. So yesterday I went there, and I had the guys go with the high-tech leak marking tool, and it tells you the depth, how many inches. So they did 39 inches, 42 inches,
I
33 inches. So
not
so-
60.
Not 60.
Yeah.
So I told the guy, I'm like, this is why you should have hired a professional person who does this stuff. And he had a Cardillo dropping off a truckload of dirt. I'm like, Cardillo does water line installations. I said, you could have hired him. And he said, but I do water line installations. I'm like, no,
Not in
you
this
don't.
town.
No, you don't. So I said, you're gonna redig the whole thing. You're going 5 feet deep. So he said, all right, we're gonna do it today. So I checked back on them later on, and they dug up on the water main side. And he said, well, I dug it up right here. We're 5 feet deep. And he tossed me a tape measure and measured. I was like, you're not even 4 feet deep. I said, you're going 5 feet deep. So I said, you're going to that main if you have to, but you're gonna go till you get to 5 feet deep, and then you're gonna carry it all across the street. And he's got his little hammer out there, a little
Yeah.
Kubota with a hammer. I'm like, you need a big hammer to get through this stuff.
Did anybody check the depth in the street before they backfilled it? The water main in the street? Now, did they run a 2-inch across there?
No, yes, a 2-inch across, and then
Yeah.
it's split to 2 1-inch.
Oh, there's two.
Yep, because
Okay.
they're going through a master, which is as far as we own, and then
Yep.
it goes to 2 individual ones to each
Yep.
individual house.
So nobody checked the road before they backfilled it?
I guess not.
I'd make them dig it up,
That's
There
what
they
he's
are.
doing.
Yeah.
the road. Yeah.
And tell them, hopefully, be like, before you backfill this.
Oh, I said,
Oh,
you're gonna
it's-
schedule it. So,
Yeah.
and I said, if I had known you were doing this, I would have said, no, you're not doing it until I'm here next week.
Especially a road like that where it's gotta be at least 6 feet, 5 feet
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
all that ledge of frost just dives right in there right
Yeah.
away.
now the sewer line, we don't care about that. That's,
That's done.
The
I did
highway
that,
problem.
so, yeah.
I wonder if anybody, well, I don't care.
But
I'm just-
I went into that you have to compact the trench. Incredibly good, you know. I said you can't use a regular hot top plate compactor unless you're gonna do every couple inches. And I said when you get to the top, I said I want a good foot of good material below the hot top. And so when I saw they had already paved the one side, the finish coat, and I'm like, you didn't even cut the trench. It was all crooked and pieces cracks and
I know they did all
and
horrible
I'm like, no way, you're not doing that on the other side. I said you're gonna do it right, and I made them cut the trench and
Because
pull
when
it out.
I went by there, and not only the trench had sunk, back off the edge from the trench, the road had,
the road came.
you know, so they didn't.
I made them cut all that out.
Yeah, they gotta cut back a foot or so to get back to where the, but anyhow.
Well, all right.
But anyway,
gotta be
so
fixed.
we're gonna be on top of them
Yeah.
when he does it again.
Well,
he
'cause
was
he
supposed
just-
to do it yesterday. He didn't do it yesterday.
But he just purchased
He's
two
got two more house
right?
lots. Yep,
Yeah.
2 more lots to do. So
Yeah.
so,
So we'll be-
4 more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna, he's gonna have to hire a real contractor. I'm not.
yeah, I don't think he's,
Okay.
hey,
Hey.
that's what we work out of town, you know what they do to us?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to say right here. Into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Anything else, John?
not really, no.
Christie?
No.
I see we have Mr. Emke here, so I'll open it up to public comment.
Can I go?
You're gonna be
Remember what you
long
said last time.
winded. I know, I got too much to go.
This is a good one. Paul Grunditz, 35 John Street. I've seen him use the skid steer, and I've seen him take the tread, the track, stop it, and get the wheels. We did that job on Leominster Shirley Road. We did a gas job down there. The thing works beautiful. Before we're even done, they put the attachment on, click, click with the water.
Yeah.
And because it's a main road, it really works well. It really works well. That thing was so good that even if we had to stop traffic, it was real quick.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, and
Yeah.
then back out. It was none of that. So that I would say is something that
investment,
you could
okay.
really use, as far as that goes.
See that, John? I want to buy some.
You don't wanna rent it, now you sure you don't wanna rent it?
Well, I'll be at first we do, but.
If you go for the skid steer and you go for the couple attachments, why not ask about the trailer too? Can they get a package
Oh yeah.
deal?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, all right, that's it. Thank you. You're all set?
Good, yeah.
I made it quick.
Yeah, so,
Well, hey, just for the camera, say who you are.
oh, Bill Emke, 445 Townsend Harbor Road. wasn't last week, it was a week before.
Week before last,
yeah. Well, I met with Fran and three folks from Ty and Bond to really question why they want to do the Keatings, this extra pilot study for Keatings. Based on that meeting and then also reading the Keating report after I got home, it just kind of reinforced my question why they want to do the Keatings. I put together a report, I sent it to everybody. John, I didn't have your email address, so you didn't get it.
Don't
Doesn't
have one. You'd have had a hard time sending one to me.
Well, I sent it to everybody else.
I get it, I
So
get
I'm
it through
I'm
here.
really here, are there any questions, any feedback or anything like that? That's all about.
First off, I did read your email. I appreciate all the effort, and that's quite a bit of work you put into that.
Well, I'm retired.
I was just like, first I just opened it real quick. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to
Too much on
dive.
the
I'm gonna have to
phone.
dive into this one a
I know
little.
when you open it.
I was like, oh my goodness. I probably didn't go through as much. Maybe Frank, you shed a little bit more light on that. I do see some of the points that you have brought up in that email, questioning why the need for certain things are, and I'm not, DEP, and I'm not the hydrogeologist. Is from what I could see, and this is just from what I could see, is that a lot of those questions that you have, I feel like they're valid, but I just don't think it's something that we, even as a water department, can kind of override. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's going to be a DEP requirement to do these things. That's in layman's terms. That's very layman compared to from the email you sent. That's kind of what I felt.
So in this case, so we did the pilot testing at Hickory Hills. We were required to do it in Lancaster as well, because that was the plan, was to tie those two together. So that was DEP requirement, and DEP is the one that said we needed to do the pilot test if we do Hickory Hills. It wasn't Ty and Bond. Ty and Bond asked DEP, and DEP said that we had to. That's where that came from. So in your thing, you had the Langley and the LSI. So this corrosion thing. So one of the big discussions was how Keatings has that precipitation where that calcium and buildup precipitates out, and caused a lot of problems. So that was all our big concern is how in this process will something of that nature take effect here, and that's kind of why we were concerned. And then we actually talked about different things of even leaving it as it is, do the pH adjustment at Keatings, and so that precipitation as it takes effect now will continue to stay there. And then when it gets to the treatment plant, if we build one in Lancaster for that, would something else take place? So it wasn't. There's still just seeing it. I just have concerns. It's not going to be 300,000. I'm not sure what the number will be. I just heard from Lou yesterday questioning when our next commissioners meeting was, which this one's too soon. So the next one we're probably going to get their proposal for what the baseline pilot test will be, and
We both of us asked Louis, I think, what is the purpose of running an additional Keatings pilot? I mean, $250,000 is a lot of money, but that aside, and he was specific. Twice he responded to do a pH study to determine what the calcium carbonate precipitation, how that affects the PFAS. That was not done. At Lancaster, and it wasn't done at
true.
okay, so that wasn't even done there.
Right, because those are soft water, considered soft.
Yeah, but that brings other issues because of the manganese. I don't want to divert it to this point.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what he wanted to do. And I said, well, what? So I said, and then I looked at this LSI and I shared with you, is this thing real? Do people really pay attention to it? Well, they do.
They
For
do.
100 years they've been paying and planning on it. And the point being now, that water, when you mix Lancaster, treated for manganese, you mix it in with the Keating water, that's what the whole thing says. It's better with respect to the saturation than the Hickory Hills and Lancaster water. It's better. You'll not.
I'm not going to argue with the numbers because you've proven that pretty good, but from what you also proved is that there should be no precipitation at Keatings.
No, I didn't say there should be no precipitation. Can you, based on what you've been observing when you inject the caustic here, would you get an immediate precipitation? And by the way, which I also pointed out in here, that's pretty common when you don't mix it properly. I shouldn't say properly, when you choose not to mix it. And there's several means of doing that. You don't, and you get the precipitation right after your injection, and then it tapers down. Very common when the caustic is put in at a certain point and it's not mixed. I don't want to say properly, because you choose not to do it, you don't do it.
We do how the whole
So-
country does it. I mean, it's,
Exactly right, that's why it's a common problem, if it is a problem. So there are things you can do when you put the caustic in to pre-mix it, make sure it's agitated and you have enough agitation, let's say, that when you put it in, you will not get that immediate precipitation. I mean, if you just drop a caustic into your heating water, you can just, it's
you
gonna
watch it.
precipitate, I can
Yeah, you
tell you.
watch it, yep.
Yeah, you can see it, I mean, of course. So you have to take that caustic and pre-mix it, or put it in a separate agitation cycle before you inject it, so it goes in as a uniform distribution of higher pH. So that problem that you're talking about, the observation that you see, this immediate calcification, is not associated with this problem that Ty and Bond wants to do. It has nothing to do with it.
Right.
This water, the water, when you mix a Lancaster water treated for manganese, take the pH up to 7.5, with the Keating's water, which isn't, the pH drops. That's not the case over at Hickory Hills and Lancaster. Both of them are
Coming
cranked
in
up to
low.
7.5.
Oh,
And
after, yeah.
so you're getting closer to the saturation point. So that wasn't studied.
right.
So-
So what he's getting at is, so we did the pilot testing at Keating's.
I'm following what he's saying.
So all right, we ran more raw water through the pilot testing for the PFAS removal, which worked with the GACB and their recommended
Right.
process. So what they want to do is do the treatment process, the pH adjustment, and see how that, because now the hard water was always a concern, was the hard water going to impact the PFAS filters? So now they did raw water, it didn't. So now that's just where they don't know, and Bill's that the opinion, it's not going to. So why do it?
So-
but the guy Fred that was here, he's a pretty smart guy.
He worked on the studies.
Yes,
So
he
they've-
did them all.
Yeah.
And so he was at I can't remember what university, said something happened, and the guy, the
Professor.
professor
Yeah.
said that's not possible, and he says this is what happened, and he it's one of those things like stuff always doesn't happen like
Right.
you think it's going to happen. So that's kind of where Ty and Bond is. Well, before we go and do this and say when down the road, it's just
And that's
Felt
kind of
it.
why DEP saying
Right.
it as well.
I
is we
think-
don't want you to have
I think where I understand where you come from, Bill. And like I say, I really do appreciate your effort into this.
He's really good at this stuff.
quite intense. But what I can see from me sitting over here is that no matter what we do as far as a treatment plant in town, the DEP is going to have to approve it. Okay, that's just. Before we say we're going to do it, the DEP is going to need to have their data sit in front of them and saying, yes, we approve this.
Could I interject one thing before you go on to DEP? Just one thing related to that before you go on. The correspondence that I've seen, that you shared with me, indicates that the suggestion for this additional pilot was made by Ty and Bond, and then DEP agreed with them. This was not, as all the correspondence, this was not something initiated by DEP. Oh, you better go and do that. That's not what
Okay, and I understand.
No, I think
that's what that's not true.
Yeah.
DEP was the first
So-
to say you need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hold
But
on.
you didn't.
You have a
It was a
different
phone
question.
call.
Yes.
It was a phone call.
All right. But needless to say, Bill, the DEP is not going to approve any of this without this data in front of them.
They approved. How did they approve the Lancaster and Hickory Hills one, which was the worst condition? They didn't require you to do the pH analysis of that. And if they agreed with that, then they just absolutely have to agree with this.
But the pH was part of the pilot test at Hickory Hills. It was
But
pH adjusted prior to.
So, Bill, we're getting caught in the weeds here. But
It's a big weed.
oh, I'm not mitigating it or minimalizing it. But can you agree with me that in order for any treatment facility to go online or even get, we need DEP's approval, right? That's a part of the step. So I understand all the homework you did on this, but
So it comes down to, can DEP be convinced that there's no need to do a pH study on this? Can they be convinced, and can we,
who's going to convince them of that?
I'll do it. I mean, I don't care.
Have at it.
You don't believe the numbers I put in here, Woody, but that number you see on the pH, I don't know if you looked at the
Right.
chart, that number for Lancaster and Keating, I went through almost 15 years of data. It wasn't that hard because it's a spreadsheet.
No, give yourself credit.
And I took the worst possible number. I went to the Lancaster wells, four of them, and I said, which is the worst thing that could make this water precipitate? And I picked that one, not an average. I picked that one. That number's in here. I picked up the pH, everything. The word, it can never be higher than this. It absolutely will dissolve calcium carbonate.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but from the people that sit over here, you understand that we can't move on the stuff without DEP's approval. So all the work you've done, it's awesome, but it doesn't mean anything if DEP says yes or no.
So is there a way of fighting City Hall on this? I mean, if you don't agree with it, it's one thing, but if you say, hey, maybe there's something here, maybe we can go to them with a story which is better than the one that they approved.
I think you can fight them, but I don't think you're gonna win.
I mean,
I'd like to see
he's
it.
got time.
Yeah,
I got time.
I'd like to see it done, really. I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah,
I'd like to have these engineers and DEP in here.
In fact, I'm sorry, John, but
No,
one
that's
of their
okay.
correspondence, they said, they even referred to the LSI for, I don't know which well it
Yeah.
was. They even referred to it, so they utilize this in their analysis.
Yes, they do.
So,
Once again, I'm not disagreeing with you, but like I
We're on
said,
your side, Bill, believe me.
but
yeah, no, that's a lot of money. I mean,
I don't want to spend any more money
Well,
on
let's
any
see how
of
much
this.
money it is. So
Right.
they're gonna set up the system, and they're gonna just run the pH adjusted water through the PFAS. We're gonna do all the readings, and it's just head
They were
loss.
talking about doing short
Doing this
term,
right.
right? Trying to do a condensed one to see if
Yes,
that would be
just
acceptable.
a short term,
Yeah.
little one, not a full blown
Yeah.
test. So he said the proposal's coming quickly. So I say, let's see what it is,
Right.
and then maybe we do jump on with Bill and we'll tag team
Right.
and go beat up DEP.
But like I said, Bill, I'm not. Your ideas, your mindsets, and I did read through your email, and like I said, there's a lot of information to. Obviously, you've researched this was more than I have, and I don't think you're nuts. I'll tell you that. Like, hey, he's got some pretty good points here, but me agreeing with it and DEP are two very different things, and we can't move on this until we have some DEP authority, and that's what we've been saying this whole time, is to even present options to the town. If the DEP says it's not an option, it's not an option.
I understand.
So that's just what we're trying to get all that ironed out over here after the last round of going through this, is getting all options. Like I said, I really do appreciate your work on this, but maybe we can see. I do think fine time bond, see what their numbers come in, and by all means, if their numbers astronomical and we want to fight the DEP on it,
I'd like to see what their process is, what they're gonna do, because they shouldn't be driving up the pH to the levels that Hickory Hills was at, because they're not gonna be treating the Keating water. So I think the average, the pH with Lancaster was, I don't know, it was 6.8 or something like, when you do the 7.5 for Lancaster, do 50-50 with Keating, which is what, 6.2 or something like that?
7.1, 7.2.
Whatever was used in the report is what I put in. And so it comes in a 6.5 to 6.9 or something like. It's not a linear average, by the way. It's an exponential thing. So it tends to favor the lower number. So you can't just take this pH, add them up and divide by 2. It doesn't
Yeah,
work
right.
that way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and I seriously, I will be glad to go and argue this case with them.
Should we be arguing this case with the engineers and let them argue it with DEP?
Well, see,
or
this
how's
is where I'm
gonna work?
kind I'm torn here. You
Yeah,
know, 'cause,
I know. I
Uh,
was thinking of that. It's-
I understand where he's coming from, and I understand the Langley Index, the LSI stuff, and the corrosion stuff. But I mean, we're gonna spend millions of dollars on a treatment plant here. I don't think us saving $30,000 or $40,000, because that's my guess of what this pilot test's gonna cost. Is
They could make it cost a lot more than that if they wanted to.
Well, they
my
understand we're trying to
concern
keep it
is
down.
that
Yeah.
I don't know how this treatment plant, what's going to happen in the treatment plant. And then the other side was how is this water going to mix? I don't know if that's a design before or after kind of thing. I think that would be on what they see during this pilot test thing. To me,
So-
there's just questions, you know. And
So
I
what you're saying is you want
Not-
to,
You should have more questions with the 7.5 and 7.5 over here with the Hickory Hills.
but the Hickory Hills is soft water.
No, it's not, well, it's right on the very
No,
edge.
and then
When
under
you combine
50 is
that-
soft water.
Yeah, well, with,
Kings is 230.
it doesn't matter, when you combine, again, we're interested in the precipitation of calcium carbonate. Understand that, that's what you see when you do your
Right.
injection, okay, that's what the issue is. And in that context, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. In fact, if you look at this, the LSI is lower for that combination than it is for the combination. I don't want to repeat myself. And that being the case, that study should have been done more so at Keating, at the Hickory Hills
Hickories.
Lancaster than this one. So, I'm not saying hard water doesn't matter, I'm just saying in the context of what we're talking about, Lancaster comes in and helps the issue a lot and drives down the. All right, so I'm here. I just don't hate this. I hate to spend the kind of money that they're talking about without having it. But I had another point in this. When they, do you recall we were talking about the number of bed levels that the Keating well requires to do
Yes.
the P? Did you see that? The note.
I didn't look up the Hickory Hills one. I reviewed all the Keating's ones, and I saw that the 70,000. I saw that,
Yeah.
but I didn't look back at the
So
information.
when I said the 70,000 and only 20,000 for the Hickory Hills and Lancaster, you recall they showed me this chart where it says it went up to over 60,000.
Yeah.
But that was for the old 20,000, 20 parts per trillion. That was the old one. So it is really, compared to get to the requirement of 4 parts per trillion, the Hickory Hills and Lancaster only will cover, will hit the breakthrough at 20,000 and 70,000 for the Keating and Lancaster. So that's a factor of 3.5. That's a factor of 3.5. So that number that they have their heads on is not the right number. And I bring that up not in the context, not necessarily in the context of that they were wrong with the argument, but they incorporated that in their cost analysis. In this table 4.6, I don't have it in front of me, but they had 64 bed levels for the cost analysis. That can't be. So that makes a big difference in the what it costs to run that plant. So I said it's 64,000 bed levels. I said, is that a mistake or am I missing something? But that's a big one. You might want to check that with them. And also, just in case I didn't read it, John, you can have this copy if you want it. They also were throwing out organics at that meeting that we had, and the effect of hard water. And in the Keating's report, Fe and mangs are not considered an issue. Organics are not currently considered to be an issue at Keating well. Head loss is not thought to be associated with water hardness at Keating. Softening is okay. So hardness and the organics are not an issue according to their own report.
In the raw water, correct.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's what went through the PFAS.
Yeah. Well, no, this is with respect to the PFAS removal,
right.
not effect. Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
So there are their report was actually, I mean, they did all 3 different types of PFAS removal, and the GAC granulated.
Yep.
did the 70,000 bed volume. The other ones Fluorosorb and the ion exchange, they went like years before you'd have to go through. But then they went through the whole process of, then you got to change it. Cost more to do it. In the long run, the GAC was the cheaper, so they did. This one might be better, but this is the cheapest. And where we could, they're going to design it so we could switch the other one later on down the road. So.
This was all GAC.
All
that's the
GAC,
only
yeah.
one I looked at, yeah.
Is that what Townsend is using when we did their little tour of this?
GAC.
GAC, yeah. Yeah.
So Townsend's plant was much cheaper because they don't have the iron and manganese.
Correct.
removal.
Yeah. All right, I got nothing else.
But I made a note. I'm gonna.
Follow up.
Randy Swigger, that's DEP, who said we need to do the.
Okay.
I'll call him.
I'd take a motion to adjourn.
You got it.
Okay, so.